First Peter 1 verse 10 says, "For whoever would love life and see good days must keep the tongue from evil and the lips from speaking deceit or bad words. Must turn from evil and do good, seek peace and follow after it. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, but his ears turn to their prayer. But the face of the Lord is against evildoers." So here it's saying that those who want a longer life should watch the tongue to make sure that it doesn't speak evil or bad words about one another, and to turn from evil to do good, because when you do that you become righteous and the Lord sees your prayers and hears it, unlike the evildoers who the Lord turns his face away. Now if we go in verse 13, it says, "Now who is going to harm you if you are enthusiastic for what is good? But even if you should suffer because of righteousness, blessed are you. Do not be afraid or terrified with fear of them, but sanctify Christ as Lord in your hearts. Always be ready to give an explanation to anyone who asks you for a reason for your hope. But do it with gentleness and reverence, keeping your conscience clear, so that when you are mocked, those who defame your good conduct in Christ may themselves be put to shame." So here Peter's saying that if you were to suffer for a good cause, that would be a blessing because Christ also suffered. And if you go down to the next verse, it says, "For it is better to suffer for doing good, if that be the will of God." If you're suffering for the will of God, that is good. But if you just suffer because you're in trouble, that is not good. And continuing, it also says this, "Then for doing evil, for Christ also suffered for sins once, the righteous for the sake of the unrighteous, that he might lead you to God. Put to death in the flesh, he was brought to life in the spirit. In it he also went to preach to the spirits in prison, who had once been disobedient, while God patiently waited in the days of Noah during the building of the ark, in which a few persons, 8 in all, were saved through water. This prefigured baptism, which saves you now. It is not a removal of dirt from the body, but an appeal to God for a clear conscience through the resurrection of Jesus Christ, who has gone into heaven and it is at the right hand of God, with the angels, authorities, and powers subject to him."